So it looks like Charles Barkley is a Brooklyn Nets hater, okay? And I'm starting to really dislike Charles Barkley's analysis because to me it just seems like a lot of Barkley's quote unquote analysis now really has more to do with personal stuff and personal beefs and personal feelings rather than genuine analysis because a lot of it seems like it just comes from a hating position. So you guys know he has a deep-seated hatred for Kyrie Irving. And so, he called them the dribble bros and he's making fun of them. And remember, KD didn't like them, and so he wasn't really giving them real responses during the interview. And so it seems like his analysis is so tailored towards that, he's blinding off any basic logic, which really, I think, is really bad. I also saw him say that Tom Brady was better than Jordan, which isn't an opinion you can't have, by the way. But it just seemed like it came from a place of beef because I think him and MJ aren't on good terms. So he just seems to be a hater now. But what I want you guys to check out is I'll show you guys the video here of Charles Barkley saying that the Philadelphia 76ers are the best team in the East.
Philadelphia playing Miami in the first round, that may be kind of scary.
No, it won't. They'll kill them.
Okay.
What's interesting is
enough of that argument. Go ahead.
I still like Philly in the East right now because I think Ben can guard one of those guys, and do a good job. But nobody got.
We're talking about Brooklyn?
Yes, but nobody got no answers for Joel Embiid. And Brooklyn is going to have to make a trade to get a big guy. I think they're going to make a big guy, whether it's Drummond or some other big guy, because they're just too small. And that boy is going to be a handful if they play in the playoffs. Like Joel, man, I'm proud.
So to me, this is absolutely insane. Obviously, you guys know the Nets are on an 8-game win streak without Kevin Durant. They're playing with Harden and Kyrie, and they're playing amazing. A lot of other pieces are really coming together. Harden is really taking that Steph Curry, kind of Chris Paul type of role where he's playing point, he's bringing the ball up, Kyrie's playing, shooting guard. And you still have good pieces like Joe Harris. They've also signed other people like Andre Roberson. Remember, Roberson is a defensive specialist. And so their team is clearly coming together. They're holding teams down to under 100 points pretty often or around 100 points. Remember, teams were dropping 150 on them on a nightly basis. You can't win games when your opponent consistently drops 150 on you. It's impossible. So while they're the best offense of all time, they're the worst defense of all time. But their defense has come a lot better, and that's why they're looking this way. But to say that the Sixers are the best team in the East or that they're going to come out of the East is laughably hilarious. Just consider all of the factors that go into this, right? It's absolutely insane. He's also trying to make it look like, Embiid can drop 1,000 points. Who's going to get you more points, Joel Embiid or KD, Harden, and Kyrie? Which one? Every time he says, who's going to stop Joel? Who's going to stop Kyrie? Who's going to stop KD? Who's going to stop Harden? And I'll be the first to say Ben Simmons is a phenomenal defender. Really impressive defender. And Matisse Thybulle's also pretty damn good. But they're not stopping KD, Harden, and Kyrie. And if Ben is going to stop them, he can only stop one. So any way you sort of put that, it's not going to happen that way. But another way you got to look at it, honestly, at this point, one thing I should say first of all is it's not like the Brooklyn Nets have just completely abandoned size. Claxton, who's really coming along right now, he's 6'11". DeAndre Jordan is a big man. Now, I'm not by any means saying that DeAndre Jordan is going to stop Joel Embiid or even that he's going to do a good job guarding Joel Embiid. I'm not going to say that at all because I don't believe that. DeAndre Jordan is he's kind of trash. But he's still a big man who I think will do enough. He will be able to easily hold off Joel Embiid enough just to the point where KD, Harden, and Kyrie, and Joe Harris, and all these other guys can shoot them out of the park, essentially. Because all the defense needs to be, because this is the greatest offense of all time, they only need to be like a 15th or even 20th ranked defense, I believe, and I still think they can win because of all the offensive firepower. You're talking about Harden, Kyrie, KD, Joe Harris, all of these guys who are just going out of the park. Shamit's starting to pick it up now, too. Bruce Brown now? He's starting to pick it up like crazy. Dropped 29 the other night. So I think he's just hating here. But also remember, guys, those three stars, two of them are injury prone, Kyrie and KD. I think the odds of two of the three being out are pretty low. I think the odds of at least two of them being healthy is pretty high. The Sixers only have 2 stars. They have Ben and they have Joel. And what are they both known for? Injuries. What happened during the bubble? Joel Embiid did play. He got swept. But Ben Simmons did not play because he was injured. So what is the likelihood of both Embiid and Simmons being healthy for the playoffs? I actually think pretty low. The idea that the Sixers can beat the Nets in the playoffs, especially considering they would likely meet in the Eastern Conference Finals, to me is basically zero. With all the playoff experience that the Nets have, there's no way. I think that Harden and Kyrie, Harden and KD, any combination of 2 of those 3 stars easily make it out of the East. There's no real challenger in the East. But I also think they win the finals because the current landscape right now is every team's got 2 stars except the Nets who have 3. So all those two-star teams have 1 star that's really injury prone. Lakers have AD. Both Paul George and Kawhi are both very injury prone. And you look at any of these teams, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, they're very injury prone. So keep that in mind. The idea that the Sixers are somehow... Barkley says that the Sixers are going to come out of the East. He has just turned into basically a clown at this point. I can't even take his opinion on anything seriously anymore because it's all about just personal beefs to this guy. He doesn't seem to care about real analysis or facts. He hates Kyrie. He hates those guys. And so he's just going to hate on them, which is you're not doing your job at that point. You're letting your personal feelings go over the real facts, okay? The Nets will have plenty of size to match up with Joel Embiid just to put him at a point where he can't outscore. He's not going to score 100 points, okay? KD, Kyrie, Harden, Joe Harris, these guys are going to put up way more points than the Sixers can. But also keep in mind, what have the Sixers proved to you in the playoffs? Nothing. The one deep playoff run where they went to 7 games in the second round, you think that was because of Simmons and Embiid? No. That was because of Jimmy Buckets, who then went to the Heat and went to the finals and took the Lakers to the strongest series they've been in through the whole playoffs. So no, they haven't proved anything to you. So the idea that an injury-prone 2-star team who has proved nothing except win 1 playoff series without Jimmy Butler, they got swept last year, remember that? They're in the bubble. That they are going to make it out of the East over the Nets, who have players who have won chips. Kyrie's won a chip, KD's won 2, although KD's rings don't count, obviously. But it's just, wow, it's disgusting, man. What a loser Charles Barkley is.